Welcome to Your Call, presented by the Headset app, the game-changing communication tool for coaches by coaches. Say goodbye to clunky headsets and hello to seamless sideline communication that keeps you focused on winning. Let's dive into today's Your Call, which is with Ryan Thomas. He's the athletic performance coach at Woodruff High School in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And he's going to share with us his sprint-based football schedule.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Ryan Thomas from Woodruff High School, and I'm just going to give you our weekly setup here at Woodruff, how we implement sprint-based football. Our week starts on Sundays, and at 3 o'clock, we bring our players in, and we split them up, offense and defense, and the offense will come out or the defense will come out, whatever coach tells me. We'll do our dynamic prep for about 15, and we'll do a very intensive dynamic prep, and then from there, I'll choose, usually earlier in the season, I'll do something called quarters with our guys, and I can choose how many quarters. Usually it's no more than 2, but there's 6 plays in a quarter. And basically it's a way of sprint conditioning them. Each quarter consists of 2 55-yard sprints, a 60-yard shuttle, and a cut 85, which would be 5 back, 10 back, 55 yards. But what I try to do is early in the season, I'm still working on their energy system. And everything is energy system based. So even though it's football is more of a older school phosphagen energy system, we go really fast. So I train them in a glycolytic system. So basically there's a 5-to-1, 6-to-1 work to rest ratio. So I tell them 55-yard sprint, 7 seconds. And so they'll hit it. And then I'll give them 35 seconds, sometimes 40, depending on the week. But we'll do 6. So I'll tell them today we're going to do 2 quarters, and they know it's going to be 12 type of runs. It's not necessarily an all-out sprint, but it's just the way we get the week started. Later in the season, I'll stride them, and I'm just working on their form, no more than 6 strides, usually 20-yard lead in to a 50-yard hold. And I don't want them more than 80%. And I tell them hip to lip with their arms. We're tall, we're pretty, those 50 yards. And then usually I give them anywhere from 90 seconds to 2 minutes rest in between each one. Then once we finish our prep and whatever run that I choose, we'll go in and we'll lift. I set our lifting schedule around recovery and our sprint-based work. So that's why we come in on Sundays, because we are going to lift our legs, what we call heavy. It's not necessarily heavy, but we'll do a predominant meat and potatoes lift with our legs. So like our bigs, they're going to front squat in season, and then from there, we'll do some hang power cleans, some split stance stuff with them, split stance RDLs, that kind of thing. But our skill kids, I never squat in season. I don't back squat. I don't front squat. I want them explosive. I don't want their CNS to be bilateral focused. So we'll do a lot of single leg stuff with them. We may do a lot of single leg tsunami work, rear foot elevated, and then it goes on, and then they'll join the bigs. But we'll finish up with some speed cord work, maybe decelerations, that kind of thing. So that's Sunday. After that, we send them home. Monday we come in, and they're here at 8 o'clock in the morning. We'll prehab for 7 minutes, knees, ankles, hips. It takes 7 minutes, and then we're going to go into our heavy upper. When I say heavy upper, it's basically just all it is it's our upper body stuff, and they're the slow speed type lifts. But I want them to move the bar fast with what we do. And then that's our lift. And the lift takes 35, 40 minutes. And then they go to class. Our practice will start at 4. And this is where we really start. So on Mondays, coach gives me periods 1 through 5, and we don't do any football stuff. Periods 1 and 2 are all dynamic prep. We have a really good dynamic prep. Period 3, we hit it's 5-minute period. We hit 1 40-yard sprint with our skills and 1 20-yard sprint for our bigs, and they're competition sprints. So they pick somebody, or however we want to create a good atmosphere for competition. But since I choose only one to run one, I want them to compete so they get up to top speed. But they also know the next morning when they come into school, I'm going to have their miles per hour posted for every student in the entire school to see. So that's That's kind of my driving force. So rank, record, and publish. But when I publish it for all 900 students to see. So they know they got to go. So that's period 3. Now periods 4 and 5. Football is a change of direction sport. So I have 2 periods we call SAC, speed and quickness. So I set up 5 change of direction stations. The pro agility, L drill, it could be some type of hurdle. But it's 5 change of direction competition drills. And on Mondays, we run 2. So the way it's set up is they have 1:30 to get 2 reps. So I want 35 seconds in between reps. And then there's a 30-second transition. So I still want them recovered and I want them changing directions as fast as possible. So we're working on getting better, but it also helps condition them as well, like we did on Sunday. So it's sprint conditioning, working on our energy system. That'll take us to about 9 minutes and 30 seconds of that second period in period 5. And then we go ahead and transition to period 6, and coach calls this fastball. And fastball, I call it team pass. It is offense versus defense, 5 minutes, all out competition as fast as you can go. So basically, our practices start on Mondays, all out competition, all fast, but with proper recovery. And then when you get into period 6, we run a play, and then we want to line up and get up fast as we can. So usually we run a play about every 20 to 25 seconds. So it's right in line with how we started practice. We want to start fast. So that's how we implement it. We go through practice, that kind of thing. And so now that's Monday. On Tuesday, they'll come to me at 8, and we don't do any lifting because we've already lifted twice. We do PNF stretching. I have them for an hour, and that's proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation of their legs. So it's partner stretching. We're working on getting a really deep stretch in there, recovering their legs, because Tuesday we call Tough Tuesdays. This is our high CNS day and practice, cover their bodies from Sunday and Monday and get them ready because it's all football. So we'll do that on Tuesdays. Yoga, band work, STEM if we need it. That hour is for the athlete and individual recovery. My job is to get them ready for practice. Tuesday's their tough day. When I say tough day, anywhere from 90 minutes to 110, possibly 120, but usually around 110 minutes to 2 hours roughly. But it's a lot of times not that long. But that's their longest practice and toughest practice of the week. When they come in on Wednesday, I have them at 8 a.m. and we'll prehab for 7. Then we'll do a dynamic lower. So now their practice is on Wednesday and Thursday, the CNS level is going to drop. But I want in the training their dynamic effort to be up because I'm still training the brain how to fire. I don't need the weight real heavy, but we're going to do a lot of tsunami work. So that's Wednesday's considered a dynamic lower day. So we're going to really go fast, maybe speed squats, speed single leg. We're going to do speed core deceleration work. We might do anything that we need, lateral work, lateral power steps, anything that fires that CNS on the lower body day. Then we'll go to practice on Wednesday, and I get 4 periods. So we'll dynamic prep 1 and 2. Period 3, we'll sprint again. We'll do a 40-yard sprint, skills, 20-yard for bigs, and then they know that's being posted once again. So they got to compete. They got to pick somebody that's going to push them because period 4, the SAC stations are already set up. And it's the same 5 as we did on Monday, but they only have 1 rep. So they have 35 seconds, and so they get 1 rep right at the beginning, and they're competing, and it lasts 35 seconds. So they'll be resting, and then there's a 20-second transition to the next one. So there's proper recovery before they start. They'll get 5 reps there. And then as far as they'll go into their practice and, they'll do whatever shots or third down or whatever. So the practice is shorter. Thursday is my favorite day of the week for what we do. Thursday, we start at 6:30 a.m. With walkthrough. So they have a quick dynamic prep, 5 minutes, just to get ready for walkthrough. They'll walk through, and they'll do that. And at 7:15, coach cuts them loose to me. and we go through our pre-game dynamic prep, whatever, our prep we're going to do for the game. So that usually includes tsunami sticks, whatever, but we'll practice it, make sure we look good. And then from our dynamic prep, which usually takes 10 minutes, and we'll go into speed sack. I have all the drills set up, and the whole team goes through one drill together. And the reason being is I don't need to smoke them, but we're going to go 45 guys going through hurdles, the speed hurdle drill. So the first group gets through. By the time that the end group gets through, we're about a minute and a half. So we go to the next station. We do 5 stations like that. And that's our sprint, because I want them changing directions, being fast. So then that usually takes us to about, I don't know, 7:35 or so, 7:45. Well, 8 o'clock, they're to be in our weight room. And then we have a dynamic upper, tsunami based. Whether we're military pressing, quarterbacks will do rotational stuff, single arm speed sticks, but everybody else will do maybe an incline, whatever I have programmed for the upper, big back day, dynamic back. I want that CNS firing, because when they're done with that lift, it's automatic recovery time. We don't see them again till the following morning. They don't have any practice in the afternoon. And when I see them on Friday morning, 7-minute prehab at 8 o'clock, and then we have a game day tsunami lift. So I have 6 exercises, 2 sets. I want to fire that CNS fast, but the lift takes 12 minutes. And I just want to get them going. The legs are very minimal. So altogether, a game kickoff at 7:30 on Friday night. They've had 36 hours of recovery. We've ramped them up during the week, and then we brought them back down, but their CNS is firing fast due to the dynamic nature of the lifts. And then kickoff on Friday, we want to go fast because that's the way we practice. So the benefits that I see from practicing like this, the big one is the 36 hours of recovery before kickoff. They hit max velocity 2 times. And the way that I ensure that is competition. And then it's always good to post it. That's the best way, because you have maybe a freshman boy or girl coming in and be like, oh, you're slow. Kids, football kids don't like that. So they're going to make sure that their times are good. We've worked change of direction in the glycolytic energy system 20 times. They've had 20 reps throughout the week in change of direction, different change of directions, front to back, lateral, linear, every way. They've had 20 reps, and it's sport specific conditioning. And then we've ramped the CNS in training on Wednesday while decreasing practice demands. Basically, we are hardwiring our brains still to fire fast while lowering physical demands on the body during practice. So those are all the ways at Woodruff that we incorporate sprint, our sprint practices. I got some statistics from our year, this philosophy. Now I started implementing this last spring, and our soccer coach let me do this philosophy with them. And I got to use the numbers from our soccer to show our head football coach, and they made a drastic change in their numbers speed wise. And so the whole change of direction thing came from my mentors, Andrew Caldwell at Spartanburg High School and Mike Schrock, the legendary coach from Burns High School. This is how I learned under them. Specifically, Coach Caldwell first taught me, and then Coach Schrock taught me the science behind it, and the work to rest ratios and how to get the most out of what you're doing. So I've taken what they taught me, my love for my knowledge of Coach David Abernathy and Mike Armstrong from Williams Strength, what they've taught me about the tsunami bar, and then my own personal love of movement. My degree's in kinesiology, which is the study of movement. And I've kind of meshed all these together and kind of come up with how sprint practices, sprint-based football works for me, and the best way that I can teach our coaches how to do it. Our statistics is back in August, we have five guys. Now this is after the summer, but we had 5 guys that were in a month time were greater than 20 miles per hour, 10 over 19. And altogether we had 15 over 19 miles per hour. In November, we had 1 guy over 22, 5 over 21, 7 over 20, and 10 over 19. 23 of our 42 guys at that time were over 19 miles per hour. And then our PRs from the year, We ended up with 2 over 22. Those were in game. One was a long touchdown, and one was a bad. We fumbled and we're chasing. So I always tell them if we hit top end speed in game, it's either really, really good or really, really bad. So we had 2 over 22, 5 over 21, 13 over 20, and 10 over 19. 30 of our 42 players were greater than 19 miles per hour for the entire season. And we stayed healthy, and our head coach was absolutely phenomenal in helping implement this. For this to work, your head coach has to be the strength coach greatest advocate, and then he's got to hold his assistants accountable to making sure the work to rest ratios are held. And Coach Sloan, Brett Sloan at Woodruff High School, does a fantastic job implementing this philosophy into his team. That's it. That's what I got, and thank you for your time.
Coach, thanks for sharing everything here. It was really great to get a look at how you guys do things and how you're building your program.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's it for this edition of Your Call, presented by the Headset app. Ready to take your game day communication to the next level? Download the Headset app today and see how it can transform the way you coach. Take it for a 1-week test run and you'll see why coaches love the Headset app. Link is in the description.